guys. So, I want to talk about something here in tournament angling and fishing, competitive fishing, that we hear a bunch of. There's two philosophies out there, and I feel personally that these two contradict one another and they fight against each other. You'll hear about guys traveling around the country, going to new bodies of water that they're not used to, haven't been to before, and you hear advice being handed out in a couple different ways. So when you go to a new body of water and you're trying to approach it, you'll hear one of the train of thoughts is you'll hear guys talk about fish your strengths. Now what this means is, at the end of the day, is those techniques and those styles of fishing where you are the most confident, those are your strengths. You can rely on those, you feel very efficient in those, and so the train of thought is stick with that, because at least then, that's an area you don't have to eliminate. Then you can really stick with fishing your strengths because you're comfortable in those areas and you can work those techniques for greater results. Because as we all know, confidence is probably one of the best weapons you can use when you're out there on the competitive trail. There's another one, however, that has just as much merit behind it, but it kind of contradicts with that, in my personal opinion. And that advice is fish the conditions. There's a train of thought of don't try to force fish to bite a certain way. That just because that's the way you want to fish doesn't necessarily mean that's the way the fish want it. I mean, at the end of the day, you don't have that control. So there's some solid advice there, and fish the conditions. If the conditions change and warrant a certain style of fishing needs to occur more than another, that's the one you should be fishing if you're truly trying to go for the win. If you're trying to bag the most weight in this competition, then you need to adjust to your surroundings. So what I've been struggling with lately is how in the hell do you balance those two things? How do you fish your strengths but also fish the conditions when those two contradict one another? I have run into that in a large amount of venues that we've gone to here. That piece of my strengths rely on certain styles of fishing that I'm really comfortable with. I prefer shallow water. By shallow, I mean I'm about a cast length from the shoreline. I'm looking for structure, and most importantly, though, I'm looking for cover. There's a difference between those two. Structure is contours. It's the ground. It's the rocks. It's the shape of the points. It's the geography. Cover can come in a lot of forms. It can be trees. It can be mats of grass. It can be grass. It can be boat docks. It can be man-made. It can be nature-made. That's cover. Those are the areas that I feel supremely confident in. I feel like breaking down a laydown, a tree that's laying down in there. There's a quick and easy way to get in there and pitch it and flip it or move through it. Then there's more strategic, tactical ways, and I feel like I've spent a decent amount of time. Obviously, still have much more to learn, but those are the areas I feel really good about. But there are places we go where that stuff just isn't there. So now what? You got to fish the conditions. The way I look at it in most of those cases. So what do you do? When you're up against that? I don't know what the correct total answer is. What I can tell you is the pathway that we're choosing to approach from this. And that is, flat out, I just got to get more comfortable with different styles of fishing. I need to increase the number of strengths that I have and reduce the amount of weaknesses that we have in our fishing game. Because I firmly believe that the more versatile angler will have a higher improved percentage chance of having better results traveling around the different bodies of water that this country has to offer. And even in, just your local area, the more techniques and varying styles, like being able to jump offshore and read some structure better, read your maps a little better, use your electronics a little better, fish bottom water column, fish the bottom, fish the mid-range of the water column, fish the top of the water column. All of these things, I think the more versatile you become, and the only way to achieve that is to do it. You got to get out and fish this technique and fish these styles and start catching some fish doing this, because at that point, then that confidence starts to build for you. And then you're going to be, far more rounded out. If Batman only had one tool on his bat belt, he wouldn't have been near as effective as what he was. One of the coolest things he had was all the gadgets that he had on there, and that's really what we're trying to do, is outfit our bat belt with as many cool, techniques and skills that we can. We want to be able to adjust to just about anything on the water when it requires. So that way we can do a 1-2 punch. We can fish the conditions, but we can still make sure that we're doing that, and it's something that's in our strength zone. So hopefully that helps, guys. Hopefully that like I said, if you have some ideas about this or whatever, please throw it in the comments down there. I'd love to hear your viewpoints on this. I am not sold, not saying I know much about anything. Just giving you my opinion, kind of where I'm coming from with this and how I see it at this current stage. So yeah, like I said, if you guys got some ideas or thoughts on these topics, please throw it in the comment section down there. Hit it up. Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. I think that's the only way we grow and learn. Thanks, guys. As always, tight lines. Be safe.